Paul Cézanne, an artist who defied convention, struggled for recognition, and ultimately changed the course of modern art. His journey was filled with rejection, self-doubt, and relentless pursuit of his artistic vision. Today, he is hailed as the bridge between Impressionism and Modernism, inspiring generations of artists. But behind the genius was a man tormented by isolation, perfectionism, and a lifelong battle to be understood. This is the story of Paul Cézanne. Early life and education. Paul Cézanne was born on January 19, 1839, in Aix-en-Provence, France, to a wealthy and ambitious family. His father, Louis-Auguste Cézanne, was a successful banker, a self-made man who wanted his son to follow in his footsteps. His mother, Anne-Elisabeth Honorine Aubert, was more romantic and sensitive, which some believe contributed to Cézanne's artistic inclinations. As a child, Cézanne attended Collège Bourbon, where he met Émile Zola, who would become his lifelong friend, at least for a time. Cézanne excelled in academics, particularly in Latin and Greek, but he was drawn to the arts. He took drawing lessons at the École Municipale de Dessin, but his father disapproved, believing painting was not a respectable career. Despite his artistic passion, Cézanne bowed to his father's wishes and enrolled at the University of Aix-en-Provence in 1858 to study law. But his heart was never in it. He spent more time at the drawing academy than in his law classes. By 1861, he could no longer ignore his calling and convinced his father to let him move to Paris to pursue art. Struggles and early career. Arriving in Paris, Cézanne entered the Académie Suisse, an informal art school that welcomed unorthodox talents. He was exposed to the Louvre, where he studied the works of the old masters, particularly Delacroix, Rubens, and Titian. However, success did not come easily. The Salon de Paris, the most prestigious art exhibition of the time, repeatedly rejected his submissions, considering them crude and unrefined. This rejection fueled Cézanne's insecurity, and he often oscillated between bursts of confidence and periods of deep self-doubt. His early works were dark and dramatic, reflecting his admiration for romantic painters. But his style began shifting after he met Camille Pissarro, the Impressionist painter, in the late 1860s. Pissarro introduced him to the technique of painting outdoors, en plein air, and using lighter colors to capture natural light. Though Cézanne experimented with Impressionism, he never fully embraced its fleeting, momentary approach. During the Franco-Prussian War in 1870, Cézanne fled to L'Estaque, a small coastal town, with his mistress Marie-Hortense Fiquet, a model he had secretly been with since 1869. They had a son, Paul Cézanne Jr., in 1872, but Cézanne kept their relationship hidden from his father for years, fearing disapproval. When his father eventually found out, he was furious, but later softened, providing Cézanne with a financial allowance that freed him from commercial pressures. Transition to his unique style. As the 1880s began, Cézanne withdrew from the Impressionist movement, feeling it lacked the structure he craved. He sought something more permanent, a way to simplify nature into fundamental shapes and colors. His belief was simple but radical. Everything in nature is modeled after the sphere, the cone, and the cylinder. This philosophy led to some of his most famous works, including Mont Sainte-Victoire, a series of paintings depicting the mountain near his home in Aix-en-Provence. He painted this landscape over 80 times, each version exploring different perspectives and colors. His brush strokes became short and deliberate, forming a unique blend of abstraction and realism. In 1886, Cézanne's personal life took a turn. His father passed away, leaving him a substantial inheritance that provided complete financial independence. That same year, he officially married Marie-Hortense, though their relationship remained strained. Cézanne was known to be difficult, moody, reclusive, and obsessive about his work. He alienated many people, including Émile Zola, whose novel Louvre, 1886, depicted a struggling, unsuccessful artist. Cézanne saw himself in the character and took it as an insult, ending their lifelong friendship. Though he lived largely in isolation, his work was finally gaining attention. He was included in the 1895 exhibition organized by Ambroise Vollard, an influential Parisian art dealer who recognized Cézanne's genius. This exhibition was a turning point. His paintings, once ridiculed, were now being studied by younger artists who saw in them the future of painting. Later years and recognition. By the late 1890s, Cézanne's reputation was growing. Younger artists like Pablo Picasso and Henri Matisse were studying his work, recognizing the way he deconstructed nature into simple shapes. He was no longer just an outcast, he was a pioneer. Yet, even as his influence grew, Cézanne remained isolated. He spent most of his later years painting obsessively in Aix-en-Provence, particularly at his beloved Mont Sainte-Victoire. He would spend hours outdoors, studying the light, the form, and how colors interacted. His health, however, was deteriorating. He suffered from diabetes, and his years of working outside in extreme conditions weakened him. In October 1906, while painting during a storm, he collapsed. A passerby helped him home, but his condition worsened. A few days later, on October 22, 1906, Paul Cézanne passed away at the age of 67. His funeral was small, attended by few, reflecting the solitude that had defined much of his life. But within a few years of his death, his work was celebrated as revolutionary. Legacy. Paul Cézanne's impact on art is immeasurable. Pablo Picasso famously said, "Cézanne is the father of us all." His approach to form and perspective laid the groundwork for Cubism, which redefined modern painting. His influence can be seen in the works of artists like Georges Braque, Henri Matisse, and even Jackson Pollock. He transformed the way artists saw the world, not as a fleeting impression but as a structured, geometric reality. Today, Cézanne's paintings are some of the most valuable and studied in the world. His still lifes, landscapes, and portraits are housed in the world's greatest museums, including the Louvre, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and the Musée d'Orsay. But beyond his technical contributions, Cézanne's story is one of perseverance. He was rejected, ridiculed, and misunderstood for most of his life. Yet, he never stopped painting. He never stopped believing in his vision. And in the end, he changed art forever. Paul Cézanne was once an outcast, but his vision changed art forever. His work inspired modern movements and shaped the future of painting. What do you think of his impact? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.